So it's important to remember that this is a practice. This isn't something that we're expected to be perfect at immediately or even ever. It's a constant state of refinement. But when we practice, we do so with full awareness. And what that means is that awareness, that continual looking, allows us to notice when we break a precept. And then we have to make it right. Like, again, I apologize for allowing this harm to happen because of me and what I did in breaking this precept of honesty, of humility. And allowing it to go on for as long as it did. And looking back, especially that line from the I Ching, the stubborn and belligerent way, it's like, oh yes, that was definitely me. And as we practice these precepts, it's so important to remember it's about my practice and what I'm doing. It's very easy and tempting to flip it around and blame it on somebody else and say, oh, you're not doing your practice. It's your fault. And it doesn't work that way. Nobody grows that way. But if we continually work on our own self and our own practice, then we catch ourselves faster. Like there's other times where I did catch myself. There was a time when I was doing a cash transaction at a bank, and I used to be a bank teller, and she gave me back $200 in cash too much. And because I had been a bank teller, I understood, like, oh, they would never be able to figure it out that it was me. And of course I just gave the money right back. I was like, oh, you gave me too much money, because I could see the harm that would come about if I kept that money, because she would have had to spend, the teller had to spend hours trying to find it, wouldn't have been able to, and then would have gotten written up because of it, maybe even lost their job. And then I would have to live with that. It's like, ooh, that's way too heavy. And even down to little things like, going through the self-checkout. It's like seeing the little, I bought something, there's a little packet that was left in the cart. And I walked out the store and I had my bag and I looked and it was like $1 or something. It's like I could have just thrown it in my bag and kept it, but why? Because it would have been wrong. That would have been untrue to the practice that I'm trying to live. So I left it in the cart and pushed the cart back in the store. Because there was a line. I didn't want to have to go through the line again. So there's still laziness. But the more we practice in the little ways, the easier it is when we have these big revelations and we realize that, oh, wow, I've been doing something that's actually causing myself harm, that's actually causing others harm indirectly in a way that I didn't realize. And when that happens, if you've been practicing all along, it makes it that much easier to shift and correct. And remember that the practice is our practice, nobody else's practice. And it's worth it. You know, another time I'll talk about the results of action. But to sum up, you know, there's actions. There are no evil people. There's just evil actions, and we can change those actions at any time. But when we perform different actions, they have consequences. So there's like how the Buddha put it, there's painful actions that have painful consequences. There's pleasurable actions that have painful consequences. And there's pleasurable actions that have pleasurable consequences. So obviously we want to be in that last category. From my perspective, anyways. And just living these precepts allows you to live in that space and create that type of world much easier. So that's what I had to say today. So thank you all for coming to sit with me and listen to me babble. And we will do it again online next weekend.